indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Newberry.
Here.
Crowner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Lees.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Do we have any changes or anything that needs to be done with our agenda?
Your Honor, just items 4 and 5 would just be discussion items, no action.
All right, thank you. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have an agenda. Discussion items on numbers 4 and 5 on the consent. Is that what I'm?
Under new business.
Under new business, thank you. We have our consent agenda consisting of 6 items. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Support.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll go through with our council and staff reports. Greg?
Let's see, just a few items. I submitted the EPA report and distributed it to staff, so that's off, and maybe we can work on a few other things, including the CIP, which began working on again today. Had a good discussion on abatement with our assessor while I was downtown for a few other things as well. Sent him a package of information. If he's got any questions, he'll get back with me, but went through those items and questions that Matt had on those items. And we had a good meeting today with the 3 associations in the Beaverdale area regarding water, brought up several topics, rates, escrows, maintenance, new lines, the contract expiration in 2024, future rates, throughout what typical folks pay outside the city limits, anywhere from 30 to 50%. Talked about rural water options. They may have more funding options for water lines. Brought up the EPA reporting that we have to do. And also brought up there's a difference between what goes through their main meter and what is billed to each of the residents. So we show a loss on an annual basis, and we're going to send them a letter regarding that loss and deduct that from the escrow. Is what we discussed today. Haven't typically done that, but that's what we requested today. We're going to send that letter out, which we should. I mean, it's basically due to their line. So good meeting. The folks were we had a real good discussion, I think.
Yeah.
And so had a good talk. Items 4 and 5, we want to push those to the July meeting simply because we don't want to have to do another budget amendment before July 1. That's really all. However, I left them on in case you want to discuss or had any questions regarding disincentives or anything that are on there, which certainly may be an issue once once action is taken for the contractor. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any information from our Public Works?
He wants to get out of.
Let's get out of the hospital, right?
He's in the hospital.
South Lift was, we were getting ready to close. John's been working with the pool to get things ready. I think the last item was ordering a battery today for the 88 lift that wasn't working. The school was there. The middle school was there today, having a pool party. yeah, that's really all I have right now.
Okay, thanks. Jesse?
We've started training on our new Motorola RMS system. I will be referring it to as Flex because that's what its part is, what it is Flex. So we spent the last 2 days, Stacia, myself, and Sergeants Dunham and Melson did a Zoom training. A lot of information, good information. We'll be on-hands training June 14th, 15th, 16th at the Burlington Police Department, where we'll be again down there training on the new system. It's there's about 6 different training dates, but we will not have to go to all of them because they'll have the jail provision and the dispatch provision where we won't have to go do the training there, but there'll be some other ones that we will have to go down there, and they're all 3-day training, but they're in town, so that's where we're at with that. We're still looking at early 2023 when we'll go completely live with the program, but we're building the program and everything right now, so we're underway.
Thank you. Kelly?
Not tonight.
Oops, I'm sorry, jumped.
On the building side, I was able to find a workaround for the licenses, so I got a bunch of backlog licenses issued, all caught up now with licenses, permits. Getting a few permits coming in, just people wanting to do some porches, some driveway work. It's going well. Not really having any hangups on getting those permits out at this point in time. Still waiting on Tyler. They said 3 to 4 days. It's been a week and a half. Brad was able to figure something out so we could get those licenses done. On the fire side, I haven't seen I just saw a photo, actually, I should say, of, we do have a chassis now. The cab's mounted on a chassis. I'll try to get that to Greg so he can get it distributed to you yet this week. I did ask him, we made a request for the dates for the final review, which will be out in Brandon, South Dakota, so I can get back to you so you know the dates will be gone for travel on that. And again, those costs, with the exception of fuel, are covered by the manufacturer. So there's the only expense is fuel.
Okay, thank you. So, Kelly?
Not tonight.
Okay. Any other staff reports? Okay. Melanie?
I just had a question. Hey, Sean, any update on how Bowie's doing with their remedial actions?
We've mitigated the dirt work out there.
Uh-huh.
At this point in time, we're just finalizing I'm getting some prices on replacement gear. Our boots is what primarily was affected, so I'm just getting some final prices from distributors. The one set of boots, the unfortunate part is with bunker gear, now it's taking almost 13 months to get. It's over a year out. So I'm trying to find a place that's able to replace the boots at a quicker rate. Still staying with something that is properly rated and everything. As far as the place itself, they are back up and running. I'm working with them on trying to designate some training for them for hazmat. So they have a better safety plan inside, but they were working on a safety plan.
So they're making a progress that you're
Yes,
appropriate progress.
they are making appropriate progress
Thank you.
based on, granted, some things we'd like to speed up, obviously. I'm gonna follow up with them later this week just to see where we're at with them, and we can go from there.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, we need to include Public Works.
Yes, there was 2 Public Works employees that were there. They brought out a bucket load of sand initially, and we determined that it was too wet where we wanted to put the sand, but still they were exposed, their work gear was exposed as well.
Yeah, and boots. I just wanted to just make sure we got those. Thank you.
Yep.
I guess another question regarding the swimming pool. So was today the first day it got some use by the public? Any issues with it getting going and everything?
I heard it was a little cloudy on the deep end. They closed it for a little bit.
Yeah, but they said that's pretty normal for the
first day. Yeah, I've seen that happen numerous times. A couple rowdy kids. Other than that, no.
Okay, so all normal then, huh?
Yeah.
And the staffing, how the folks we have for staffing working?
We had enough staff to do guards, plus the school had 13, I think, teachers there,
Wonderful.
trying to
Okay.
help navigate 7th and 8th graders, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, I think it was.
150,
Yeah.
something like that, 150, I think.
Super. Okay, thank you. I'm glad we were able to accommodate their schedule, make it work.
Mhm.
That's all I had.
Okay, Therese?
I was on Facebook and somebody was questioning about the citywide garage sale they had. It was on June 2nd. That's a misprint somewhere, Kelly?
The
Garage
last
sale.
Saturday in June.
It's June 2nd's this coming Saturday.
Tomorrow.
You know, right off the top of your wee little head?
I don't know, there was a paper out there in the front.
Okay.
It was in the, where did you see it printed, Ron?
Well, it was on Facebook. Somebody was asking a question about if it was a misprint for June 2nd. I thought, I think so. But I didn't have the date in front of me either.
I'll double check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Me? Hey, is there any way we can turn that shade? That sun's right in my eyes. Yeah, that one. You're just black.
All the way the other end, Sean.
It's on the end.
Not bothered me. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's my eyes.
This
Oh, that's better. Thank you. I guess I'd like to bring up something about mowing. I know we have the 6-inch rule on the mowing, and I myself, I mowed my grass Saturday, or Sunday it was, and today it needs mowed again at 6 inches. And that along the road from North to Gear, my neighbor and me, we take changes, takes turns doing that. And that's actually higher than my yard is. I'd kind of like to give them like 8 inches before we go and start giving them tickets and stuff. I don't know what the rest of the council thinks about that, but I think 6 inches is way too short. So, I don't know where we take that from here or how we do that.
There's a consensus, we can bring back an ordinance. 8 inches is the typical standard across the state that I've seen.
Johnny, I was thinking the same thing, since I'll be mowing our lawn for a while here, and it's gonna it might get ahead of me, but yeah, take a ruler out there and you put 6 inches, like, shoot, that's quick, so I'm good with 8 inches.
I'd like to have a little time to think about it, but I'm good with discussing it. Yeah.
Okay. So could you do something like that, Greg?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. That's all I have.
Okay. Andy?
I'm in full-on 4th of July mode now, so we have a month. All I'm going to say today is just thank a couple people. Some of our main sponsors, Trailways, Two Rivers Bank, Snyder and Associates, French Rent-A-Car, and F&M Bank. Some of our top donors couldn't let this event happen without them, so thank you very much. And then tickets are available for the raffle. Some great prizes this year. A lot of groups selling them. If you haven't seen anybody yet, we do have them available at City Hall to purchase. And the Firemen Association is also selling a bunch this year, and so check your local firemen as well if you're looking to buy. Otherwise, we're getting about there, about 600 things left to do, and then we'll be ready.
Kathy?
Just thank you to Bethany and the pool staff. They've been training every night. Really impressed. They're working really hard.
Mayor, it's the garage sales, June 25th. I'm not sure where the typo was, but
5 was missing now.
Darn that.
June 25th. And there's registration forms at the front counter at City Hall.
And how do you,
We can put a reminder.
Yeah, we'll put up something on Facebook.
and how do you get on that list?
You just come in and sign up at City Hall and fill out this sheet, and we'll add you to the list.
And that goes on the city's,
It
Decide or-
it prints out a map of all the garage sales, and then there's a link to it, the map posted on the website.
I'll have a lemonade and brownie stand at my house because it's pretty much in the middle of all the garage sales.
could you quote that? Could somebody quote her saying that?
What? The kids are.
It's a children's.
Grands.
Okay. With that, unless we have some community reports, I will make a proclamation of Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. I have two guests here from the Alzheimer's Association. Would you care to step up and say anything to the council?
My name is Denise Hanks. I think I've talked to you on the phone because we want to thank West Burlington for allowing us to have the Walk to End Alzheimer's in West Burlington. It is my hometown, and I love to show it off. And just as someone who works professionally with persons suffering from Alzheimer's and other brain injuries, and also personally with my mother having Alzheimer's, I'm very appreciative of the city of West Burlington declaring June Go Purple Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly, do I have a certificate to present?
I lay right,
Right there, okay. Thank you. So here's our official proclamation. Want me to read it?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll read it.
Whereas as many as 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease, and someone new is diagnosed every 65 seconds, and whereas Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States, where 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's or another dementia, and it is the only leading cause of death without a prevention or cure. And whereas it's important that the people of West Burlington know that in 2021, more than 11 million care partners provided an estimated 16.1 billion hours of unpaid care valued at nearly $272 billion. And whereas researchers are working diligently to develop new methods of treatment, prevention, and ultimately a cure for Alzheimer's. And whereas the Alzheimer's Association encourages West Burlington area businesses and residents to join in the fight against this devastating disease and to go purple during the month of June by decorating their storefronts, business spaces, and homes with purple, as well as wearing purple to raise awareness for Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. And whereas it's appropriate that a month be set aside to encourage residents to take steps to act now and end Alzheimer's and dementia, to learn the facts about Alzheimer's and recognize signs and symptoms, to voice their support, become an advocate, and get involved to help move the Alzheimer's Association cause forward and end this disease in West Burlington. I, therefore, Ron Teeter, Mayor of West Burlington, do affix my seal and proclaim this month of June as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month.
So Denise. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't. So where does the walk start and when and time-wise?
Okay,
And
so it's the second Saturday in October, and I believe it's the 9th this year. It's the 8th. It was 9th last year. And we start and end at the mall, so we can have everything inside in bad weather, but the walk will actually take place outside. The 1 mile will be around the perimeter of the mall. The 2 mile will it goes up Houston, down to Broadway, so it will come down through the downtown, go to Mount Pleasant, go back up Ramsey, and then, I'm not sure if I'm gonna go all the way to Van Nuys, but we did last time, and then sort of go by the schools, and then on down. I don't live here,
So do
but I
we.
grew up here.
So how many people do you usually have at the?
Well, it's been really interesting in that, COVID is kind of, 2 years ago, we just had canceled for 2 years. And then last year, we kind of did a hybrid. We're hoping to have a couple hundred, right? Yeah. that should not be a problem, so. So if we can have people out and cheering the walkers on and doing things like that, wearing the purple, you know, if the city would like to get a team together, that would be awesome as well. And just help us with supporting the Alzheimer's Association.
You do a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on. My computer is not helping me out here. There we go. All right, so we'll start with our new business. Consider resolution setting a date for a public hearing on the proposed July 2022 Urban Renewal Plan Amendment.
Motion to approve for, I believe it's July 6th, 2022. Does that sound correct?
I think that's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Motion?
I second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
Just a FYI, I mean, most of it is in paragraph 2. This is just part of the process to update the urban renewal plan in order for expenditures to be made. It first needs to be on the urban renewal plan. As you recall, perhaps during budget, items that are listed in here, we were extending our economic development items in the urban renewal plan, administrative cost for the city were being newly included in the urban renewal plan. The housing demand study, ability to pay that utilizing TIF if necessary, potential acquisition of property if necessary, and the potential TIF for the housing project on Pennington is included in here as well. These all need to be included in the urban renewal plan before you can utilize tax increment financing, and it's just part of the process that we utilized or are required to go through.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Number 2 is a discussion of changes to the external power on the north side of City Hall.
Mike's not here.
Yeah.
However, we are lucky to have Josh here tonight, who
Please, that way people can hear you on the mic.
who has been working on the project with Mike as the contractor who would be doing the work, and can give you a much better explanation than I can on the project and the associated cost for the project. I was just trying to pull up the information here.
I didn't have it.
No, we didn't have the information? Okay. I believe Mike indicated that you were going to have some updated numbers tonight.
Yeah, so Mike came to me wanting to look at doing an upgrade to that service out there. And so we came up talking to Dave Bazine Electric for a labor quote, and they came up with a labor quote of $4,775. And then we were looking at some options for donations. So 3E as a company would donate $10,159 of that in material cost. And then the remainder would be $4,569 in materials that would need to be picked up by the city to complete the project. So to the city, to pay the labor and the materials would be $9,344.54. So that's what we're proposing for the upgrade. So that replaces what's there currently and then gives you room for expansion as well.
And then we would propose that we use hotel motel tax. The bill would come in after July 1st. It wouldn't require a budget amendment. This would be an appropriate expenditure given the, what it's being utilized for, the 4th of July event, obviously. So we would propose that we use hotel motel taxes to pay for that expenditure. Happy to answer any questions, not myself, but.
Could you give me the numbers again?
Yeah, the labor bill, $4,775 even. The amount of materials that the city's portion would be $4,569.54. And the donation amount would be $10,159.94. So a total of $19,504.48.
And I did indicate, I don't, Mike shared with you, I mean, we'd certainly be able to write a letter as well for donation purposes for IRS.
That'd be fantastic, yeah, great. We did reach out to Lion about, there was another option proposed. We did reach out to Lion Energy, and that's not a possibility. There's already a service on the building. They would not allow to have another one. And then the cost to drop a 400 amp service with the H-frame and the CT cabinet, external metering and another panel would supersede that. So that really wasn't an option that we thought was viable for you guys, so.
And that's coming off the lines? Is that
Correct. You'd have to have a structure, 12 foot long, 8 foot tall to mount all the gear on to be able to do that. So where you have the side of the city building that we would use to do that now. So, but you already have the CT cabinet and all that stuff that you're just going to be adding. You're adding a branch circuit to it. You're powering your garage essentially, but it's a 400 amp service.
It's a big garage.
Yeah.
A big garage, yeah.
You just got to keep those deep fat fryers running for the celebration.
So,
Go ahead, John.
so tell me why you can't just bring a pole in, put a pole, and then run the wires to the building. I know you can't run off the building. I understand
Yeah,
that.
Lion Energy, they were not interested in any part of that project at all.
They do it all the time.
What's that?
They run wires off of lines all the time.
I don't know for a 400 amp three-phase service. I don't know if that's not a temporary situation.
And this is a long-term,
Yeah, I
fix.
I don't know how long the celebration's going on, but you've got years of room for
2004.
expansion in that, yeah. So, yeah, it's been great. My family's really enjoyed that. We wanted to give back and help what we could, and so, yeah.
Two quick comments. One, just thank you to 3E. I mean, obviously, a $10,000 donation is a huge, huge deal for us. So thank you very much. Number two, just, hey, the event will go on without doing this, okay? So what this does is take us from, I think we had 4 vendors last year, and when we plugged, basically the 4th blew it, right? So we were down 45 minutes. We had to come in and change the panel mid-event last year. So I can do it this year. We'll just be limited on food vendors to 3 and going forward. So this just raises that power up so I can add, I'm guessing probably 5 or 6 total this year, and then see where we're at, see if we're blowing anything, see where we're at on power. And as we continue to grow, we at least have that room then that we can do things out there and do it safely too, which was a concern last year. So helps us out a little bit. So I'm okay. We'll survive without it, but if you folks are willing, then it helps us add more food vendors.
So if we were to do that, how long does it take you to do it? I mean,
So I just talked to Mike from Lumos today, and he said, we'll get it on the book. We'll definitely get it done well ahead of but he said, we're getting down there, right? We've got a month in, so it would take him a couple days, maybe a day to install it. Actually, the panel in the basement is not very far from the panel outside, so I think we have like a 20-foot run, 2 20-foot parallel runs to get there, so it's not that far. But they have to come up, bore through the concrete wall, LB out into the bottom of the panel, get it mounted, do all that stuff. And part of that is we're reusing some of the gear that's already there to save some money as well. There's some outlets and stuff that can be reused and repurposed to do that, so.
so our recommendation would be to go with the prices as noted tonight, utilizing hotel motel tax after July 1st to pay for the purchase. so that we can move forward tonight as quoted.
And if I'm not mistaken, we use the hotel motel tax for the 4th of July anyway. most
Yes,
of it.
this would be,
So it's-
this would
it's
supplement that.
Basically, still using it for the same
Yes,
purpose.
that's correct. It's an appropriate use of the funds.
I think we should do it myself.
Do you need a motion to that
I got a
nature?
couple
Yes.
questions. First,
Sure.
I want to thank you and 3E for the donation. A question, is it a local donation or is it a corporate donation?
It's a
Is it
local
regional?
donation from our branch in Burlington. Yes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank
That-
you.
That matters, that's a chunk of change for anybody, but appreciate that. Two, I like the idea and I like our 4th, but I challenge us to think this is a $20,000 investment, half of it offset by donation for a one-day event. Let's remember that as we consider other things we want to do going forward. $10,000 for one day. Maybe we need to figure out a way to use it more for something else. I don't know, farmer's market stuff, something, but this is just one day.
Yep.
And I'm in favor of it, but if we're gonna spend the money, let's use it this year, let's use it for the 4th, but let's think about ways to do it otherwise. And again, if we think this is important, we gotta think about other potential expenditures we have. And if this is good enough, other things might be good enough too. That's all, thanks.
The thing is, I agree with you 100% on it, except without it, we probably ain't gonna grow much.
We're not gonna
With that
grow the
event.
4th of July event.
Well, you're not gonna grow the 4th of July, and you probably aren't going to have the incentive to do these other things that might come up,
Whatever they might be.
whatever they might be. So I think it's a good idea,
Certainly.
so.
One
think
final
money
thing.
well
we-
spent.
We've talked about solar on the building here. Is any part of this would interfere or tie in with that at all?
No.
I don't, sure, perfect.
Completely
Thank- I
unrelated.
just had,
Yep,
now I
yep.
feel good I asked the
No,
question.
absolutely.
Okay,
Good question.
perfect, done.
Question.
All right. Guys, have a good evening.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You need a motion, or are we gonna just?
Yes, please.
Oh, well, then I make a motion that we go with the figures that was quoted tonight by Josh, and thanking his company very much for their local donation, and using the funds from the hotel motel tax to pay our portion of $9,349 and some odd cents.
After the 1st of July.
After the
The-
first of July.
They're going to invoice us after July 1st, yes.
Perfect. Support.
Support, motion support. I think we ought to have a roll call vote on this. Kelly?
Crowner,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Newberry.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Consider the purchase of a vehicle for the police department, number 3.
Shall we start? Or I'll go ahead and start. Jesse's been looking at vehicles availability, state bids across the state. The Durango and the Ford are not available until, well, the Durango's not available at all. The Ford's not available until at earliest November. The Ford's running 37 and change up to 38 and change, depending on the vendor. The Chevy Tahoe is available for purchase from Carl Chevrolet in Des Moines. You'll note the price at $40,000. We budgeted $40,000 total for the purchase of the vehicle, $15,000 for equipment. Couple of questions that I had was if we could offset some of the equipment costs by reutilizing those costs. Jesse and his staff had been discussing the issue, and we have a current vehicle that I think they could potentially use in lieu of purchasing a newer used vehicle for the drug task force to help offset those costs. The additional costs. We don't see these prices going down, and utilizing that vehicle would help offset. We have 23.5 budgeted for that task force vehicle for next fiscal year, and that would more than offset those costs and any repairs that would be needed to the current vehicle. which are minimal. I believe the brakes need looked at and the tires. I've had experience with the Tahoe. Actually, I was just having a conversation a couple weeks ago with the Burlington chief. He actually drives an unmarked Tahoe as well. But I've got a number of years' experience with Tahoes. Had an excellent experience with them from a maintenance experience as well. In fact, I prefer them over the Fords and the Dodge. So. Either one of us are happy to answer any questions that you might have for us.
So the store that you're proposing is in Ankeny, and they're a preferred dealer, I guess, but what's the difference in the price if we get it from here without that?
I haven't checked the availability out of Schadenkirk, and the reason is Carl out of Ankeny is the state bid price, and they get all the vehicles ordered and get them delivered there. And past practice using local, it's a special order for them, and they're not guaranteed to place that, get their order completed. So we may have to set on this for over a year.
And you're telling me because they're a state bid, they're guaranteed?
Yep.
Because I didn't think anything was guaranteed up there anymore.
For this, it is. The Fords and the Dodges are not guaranteed because they showed last year that they had over nationwide. I put in there 9,000 orders canceled for Dodges alone, and the Ford was in about the same boat. But with the Tahoes, with it being Chevys, they were able to complete their orders as they presented them to the dealer or to the manufacturer, Chevy.
And we can't do that here.
Not necessarily, no. I like keeping it local. I've done a lot of business with local. I like to keep it local. But when it comes to the placing the orders of the current status on vehicles, it's just not been going well.
But we really didn't try.
I have not, no. The last time I went out there, the salesperson was not in. He did not get back with me, and I did not check back in with him.
So if we table this for tonight, we could check it and bring it back next council meeting. Maybe we'll have some answers.
Carl's not on they're not on the state bid list, though.
Schadenkirk is not on a state bid list, no.
But you don't have to be.
No, but to get for state bid prices, we will pay more at Schadenkirk.
And how much is that?
Couple $1,000s.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The state did redo, when they had the sheriff's vehicles up there, guys from Carl Chevrolet were doing the installs on their cameras, and I was talking to them. The state did redo their structuring on dealerships that do the bidding. And Carl was the one that the state went with. So they get the primary choice on state bids. I do know that in talking with them. I did talk with Mark Crooks, who's the fire marshal for Burlington. He went almost a year and a half on waiting for his replacement vehicle that they originally had placed in, and then it got pulled. And he just went through a lot of headaches. I believe he ended up going down to St. Louis to get his vehicle. They had to work around in order to replace his vehicle. The state kind of made it more difficult on public safety agencies that do get their vehicles by reducing the number of state bid dealerships. It's not to say you still can't get the state bid price, but then they add a surcharge onto it for their upmark.
I just know that the longer we wait, the less chance we will get the vehicle, because they only make so many vehicles, and then they're done with and that's what the Ford is. Their cutoff date's already done for 2023. They're not going to open it back up until November before we could even bid for a new model Ford. So it's, the longer we wait, the less chance that we will get a vehicle this year. And it'll be put off a whole nother year with cost increasing daily.
With all due respect, though, if we knew that, why didn't we look at this a month ago? So that we could bid within here. Or check the prices.
I don't understand your question.
My question is, if we knew that we would have to do it right away, because there's a cutoff bid time, why didn't we look at buying this a month ago so that we could have at least priced the cars at maybe Fort Madison, Burlington, Mount Pleasant, and around the area?
I was in the process of that about a month ago, and it's just the information that we've been receiving over the last couple weeks of the cutoff dates and the bids that they've lost and the dealerships or the manufacturers going out of business. Dodge is no longer going to produce Dodge Chargers, and even the Durangos are not looking like they're going to produce squad cars for the police package squad cars for Dodge Chargers
Yep, I
or
understand that.
Durangos. So we have been in the process of this.
Well, I know if we were gonna buy a backhoe and we didn't buy a case backhoe, we would be getting, because it could be sold here and it could be made here. And I although the car's not made here, we could buy that car here maybe for the same price. We don't know that answer, and that bothers me. If I knew that answer, I could vote for this. Without knowing that, I can't vote for this.
I guess an option would be to make a condition upon checking with the dealership, and seeing if they can meet the same price and the same timeline. But Carl can guarantee the delivery of the vehicle, as I understand it.
I have a quick question on the process of it. I actually agree with you. I'd like our local dealerships to have a chance at this. And so my question is, during the state bid process, did Schottenkirk, and I know Deary doesn't have that model, but did they have an option to try to be that state bid?
They've never been able to do the state bid. They've been close on several of our purchases out there, but it's always been over the price of the state bid. That if we went with the company that gets the state bid, has always come in lower. And in past memos, I've went with local Schottenkirk or Deary Brothers for our vehicles. But with the shortages that we've been experiencing and all the vehicles that have been canceled over this past year, and when they said they can guarantee me that I can get this vehicle, is why I proceeded with them and didn't check a whole lot with the local dealerships, because I just know this past year where people, residents have went out to purchase new vehicles, and vehicles have been canceled on them. They were told they can get this vehicle, and it's a year down the road before they get the vehicle. And
Oh, and that's true.
absolutely,
I mean,
so
to a certain extent,
Do
for
you
the
feel-
normal people.
Jesse, do you feel, let's say this was pushed 2 weeks to talk about it again, do you feel we lose our spot in line then, we lose our chance of getting this? Is that your impression?
they're only going to make so many vehicles nationwide, and then they're going to be cut off for the year, and then we'll have to wait for it to open back up next year.
But when's that cutoff, do you know?
There's only so many vehicles, so once all the vehicles and that's everybody in this country.
Yeah.
Everybody, just not everybody's going through Carl, but that's just every state. The Chevy's only making so many Tahoes, and then they're done with production.
So while you was talking to Carl, did Carl say, hey, you need to get this in right away
Yes.
because we're close? Or
Yes.
did he say?
He said
"You
it.
have a month or
No, he
6
says
weeks?"
it opened up, and this past week, a week ago, and it'll be closed soon. I can't guarantee you it'll be still open in 2 weeks. I can't tell you that. It could still be open in 2 weeks, but they're just to that point that vehicles are hard to come by.
When Jesse came into my office and I pulled up the latest list on the computer, it had already changed on what was available on the vehicles. I mean, it was changing that quickly. So,
Well, I agree with all your comments about this price isn't gonna go back down. I mean,
That's
it's
true.
just the world we're in today, unfortunately. I do wish that we had a chance to at least give the opportunity to our local dealerships, even if we're fairly aware that it's gonna be higher. I just feel like we should. There are businesses. Also understand that they only make so many, and we may lose out though, this year.
Is there a way we can vote to approve with the contingency that a call get made to the local dealer within 48 hours in response? See what they give, as long as this quote is,
I can go out tomorrow and talk to them and see if we, see what they can do. And then I can talk to, Carl again and see, but I just know, see what their options are.
because it's probably the state's bids is the best bid we're probably gonna get. That's probably what it is. But our local businesses pay the property taxes, and they're the ones we serve. So I think it's worth one more call out there and running up the chain and either give an answer and say, hey, no, go with what you got, or, oh my gosh, thanks for calling, and here's the best price we can sell you a Tahoe for.
police package, yeah.
So how can we proceed in that manner? That's what I'm in favor of.
Seems like your motion could be set up so that you say that we're going to approve this at this price level, and we will only go so much more for a local dealership, but they have to guarantee us the same,
Equal to or better pricing than
Yes.
presented tonight.
And the guarantee.
and the guarantee that it's going to be
Delivery,
delivered, which is, I'm afraid, what our dealerships can't do.
Okay. And let's just go through the process so we feel like we've at least served our citizens. Yes, that's what I want, Ron.
I won't sign off on the PO until we've done that and have that attached to it.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Support.
I'll make that look pretty.
Thank you, Kelly. Make it sound like, thank you.
So we have a motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, so we now have reached numbers 4 and 5 for discussion on the South Lift Station.
Left them on there to see if you had any questions tonight. We'll put them on for action at the first meeting in July, which I believe is the first. Something like that. We'll be ready to close out the project. You've got memos from Lindsay with Snyder and Associates on here for both the final payment and the retainage with withholding, a portion of the retainage for the disincentive related to the project, which is basically the subcontractor and the issues that we had with the 3 pumps, and the multiple delays and issues that we had with the pumps, which is documented by Snyder and Associates. And the reason we needed to push it off is simply so that we don't have to do the timeliness and the need for a budget amendment. There's $400 and some left in that account.
July 6th is the.
July 6th?
I just had one comment. I'm out there all the time showing those condos right on the south side of those, and it's those are $250,000, $300,000 properties right next to it, and I think what we've done is a good job. It covers it up. There's nice landscaping, so the whole project in general looks good. So, good project.
If there's no other discussion, I'm going to move on to item number 6 then. Considering resolution authorizing end-of-the-year transfers for fiscal year 2021-2022.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion on this? If not, then, All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to number 7, consider resolution temporarily closing certain streets for the annual 4th of July celebration.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? If not, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 8, consider a resolution amending wages for swimming pool employees for the 2022 pool season.
Motion approved. Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
Tell me once how we got from the 300 hours to the 150 hours.
2 ways, and actually that should be spelled, that should be Bethany, just for on the wages there. I just noticed the error. In talking with Bethany, and Kelly looked at some of our historical numbers as well. The number of hours that lifeguards typically work with all of their other activities was closer to 100 in her, let's see, in her experience, and in our experience, it was closer to, we had several that were around 150 and some that were in the 200 hours. And the goal is to, 1, get them to work more hours, and then 2, get them to work as long as possible, ideally through the end of the season. So in having those discussions with them, it really seemed more appropriate to bring it back down and to get the date in there through the end of the season and/or, I guess. Because really we want to keep them there as long as possible. But this number seemed more in line after talking with Bethany, and Kelly found some historical data as well.
I found some of our old data from when we ran the pool and the guards' total hours for the year. And I also called the Y to ask them about their guards' average, for the year. And our managers, when we ran it, barely got to 300, like 298 or something. And you're not going to get the teenagers to work. They're not working necessarily all 8-hour shifts. They're working a lot of split shifts to get, we want to get them to put in the effort to get up to that number of hours, but I don't think anybody's going to get to 300 from the information I gathered anyway.
How great is the concern then? If that's the amount of hours that they're working and we only have 11/12 guards, should we be looking already at cutting the amount of hours that the pool is open or days that the pool is open? Those things don't line up correctly.
So, well, we've had the Y, when I talked to Gina from the Y, she said the hours that we are planning to be open seem like that may be excessive for trying to schedule, for scheduling purposes. But I said, I made that disclaimer when we kind of set the hours up that it may need to be adjusted. They have a rotation set up already that they've been using. I think it's from noon to 6.
She's going to try to split it into 2 shifts of
You've
4
got
hours.
11 to 3 and 3 to 7 shifts now. And
Yeah.
Right. We have an application that came in 2 days ago. You had another individual that stopped in today, and you have how many individuals that are willing to get certified in the next round?
There's 8 that are willing to do to try to do the certification.
That would be, I believe, 10, was one of those certified?
21.
So that would be 10 more that could get certified here as soon as she has her WSI or we get another class. So hopefully that would give us a lot better flexibility.
If they pass the.
Everybody passed last week, so fingers crossed, we get a majority of those to pass the certification. That'd be great.
Okay, so the answer to that is yes, we're concerned
We're gonna-
about.
Yes, we're concerned.
But we're trying, but we're gonna certainly try our best, and if we need to, we'll certainly advertise it and post it and try to come up with some reasonable solutions, but concessions
We
have
have
been
way more
ordered.
people interested in doing it than the classes available to get them in there.
So as soon as we can get more people certified, she's gonna take the WSI class, we'll get her certified as well. And if we can find another class or get the gentleman that did it last week to do another class, we can get these other 10 folks on that class ASAP, that'll give us a lot more flexibility, so.
And now, how about with the vending? Are we set up, ready to go? How's that looking?
We're picking up all of the concessions items tomorrow morning, so they'll be stocked for Saturday.
Brad put it into the
Square.
Square
table.
system today, all the pricing. And they're doing a training session tomorrow.
So are we vending machines? What are we doing?
No, just stocking the back room.
They were not
Well,
gonna have vending machines, he had to order vending machines, and they weren't gonna be here when we open. So Bethany said if we're gonna start, she felt like if we were gonna start with just selling pop over the counter, she just assumed just continue doing that, rather than stop and do vending machines. Plus, I think you're gonna have a lot of issues with change, swapping out, but
So,
he didn't know when the machines would be there, so it's just a matter of, we're gonna stock it.
we'll have it stocked, ready to go. They've got the concession staff. They'll be ready to go.
We have more concession staff than guards, but
So what concessions are we gonna have then besides pop?
She's got.
it's
whole
going to
list.
be, all prepackaged stuff. It's gonna be just snacky stuff.
Prepackaged at this point. We got to put something out on the trucks. I talked to somebody else about that as well. Thought that might work as well. Prepackaged doesn't require the health inspection. In talking to Lee County, so that was good. And we need to put together a little package on the food trucks. My mind is blank. I talked to somebody about it the other day. But thought it would work pretty well if we could get them lined up, do a daily piece as well. So, right there in the backside of the machinery building, be on the east side of the machinery. There's no curb there, they can back right in, perfect location.
Now, my final question, what day did we have set aside for staff and council and everybody to go enjoy the facility?
I'm steering clear. I'm not gonna add any more issues to them.
We used to have
Getting a lot of bad looks here.
passes for season passes for staff, didn't we?
All right, well, I'll be there swimming, you can all join me.
Were you the one that snuck in the other?
Under the gate.
He clouded the pool.
That's why the pool was called, yeah.
I believe I have a motion and support on the table here, so. Do we need an amendment to that, to correct that one name? or-
It's ministerial,
Yeah.
we'll make that change.
All right, thank you. No further discussion, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 9. Consider a resolution setting non-union wages for the fiscal year 2022-2023.
Motion approved.
Support.
Motion and support. We have discussion on this.
Yeah, I want to make one comment. I think this is a good middle ground for taking care of our staff and taking care of our citizens. I think this is right in the middle where we're showing our staff that we appreciate them, that in this environment of where we're at for wages, I think this is a good wage increase, but yet also fiscally responsible for our citizens. So I think we hit it kind of right on the head with this one.
If there is no further discussion, then all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consider the final reading of an ordinance setting water rates for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and support. All in favor signify, any discussion?
I think we need to do a roll call for,
For
since it's
this
an
one?
ordinance, yeah.
Okay. Roll call.
Johnson,
Aye.
Lees.
Aye.
Newberry,
Aye.
Crowner,
Aye.
Young.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Motion carries. Do we have any old business? Okay. No citizen inquiries. Take a motion to go into closed session.
I motion that we go into closed session to consider the.
To consider Iowa Code Section 21.51.
Support.
Motion support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are now in closed session.
I didn't see who made the second.